Hi, it's Martin. Welcome to another video on my Knit 365 YouTube channel. This is episode 10 of my Vlogtober mini-series. It's Wednesday the 27th of October, and this is going to be a slightly different video, I think. Mark has gone off to London for the day with work, and I've got the day off because I'm doing my super secret thing this afternoon, which I'm really excited about. But I worked out at the start of the week at work, I have loads of holidays left to take. So I've taken today off, and I've also taken Friday off. So I've got to go back in tomorrow, but it's fine, by the by. So today I thought I would just do a bit of a day in the life of knitting adventures. I've got a few things that I want to do today before super secret event later on. I've got my morning coffee. It is 6:30. I've just taken him to the train station so that he can go and get his train to London. I finished this week's clue, Happy Dance. So I'll share my progress and I'll show you the final section later on in this video. But I've got a few things I want to do today. So I want to make some baubles, and I'll talk about the baubles a little bit later on for those of you that are new here. I am 6 behind on my Christmas baubles, and Christmas is coming. It'll be Vlogmas before we know it, and I'll be doing vlogs in December. So I want to do some baubles. I want to make 2 baubles. I also want to do at least 1 square for the baby blanket. Now I finished the shawl, I'm allowed to do squares. So want to do that. I need to go to the post office to post a letter. I also want to soak all of the dried fruits to make a Christmas cake, or make 2 Christmas cakes, 3 Christmas cakes. I need to check. I make the Christmas cakes for the family. I think I'm making 3 cakes this year. So I want to soak the fruit so that I can make the cakes on the weekend, and then it's got some time to soak. So yeah, I've got a few little chores to do. We might try and go to Big Moose for lunch, maybe, if I can squeeze that in and get a quick trip into the city centre. I need to be back here by 2:30 for my secret mission. So it's still really early. It's only 6:30. I've filmed this introduction 10 times because I keep forgetting what I want to say. I haven't had my coffee. As with brioche in the last video, don't do it unless you're fully caffeinated. Don't really record blogs unless you're fully caffeinated too. But yeah, I thought this would just be something a little bit different to continue to share my month with you throughout October. So I hope that you've also got a coffee, a tea, a beer or a gin. Way too early for that in the UK as I'm filming this, but who knows where you are when you're watching this. So I hope that you're sitting comfortable, and I hope that you enjoy a little bit of a different Vlogtober episode today. And let's go and make a list.
suit.
And there we go. It is 10 o'clock, so 2.5 hours-ish to do a bauble. I've had some breakfast, as you've seen. I've put something on the telly. I've started The Affair. Oh, it's a bit raunchy, isn't it, if you've watched it? Friends raved about it. Mark didn't seem keen. Unless there's guns and action fighting sequences, he's not a big... I was going to say a rom-commer. It's not a rom-commer, is it? It's a romantic drama. I think there's death, and so I've started that. It's quite good. I'm on episode 2. But I've done my first bauble, so we can tick that off the list. That is good going. And as you can see, it is a lovely little ballerina. So the pattern repeats on the 4 sides. So for those of you that are new, that haven't seen my bauble along, I've been doing these since January. It is the Arne and Carlos, I was going to say bauble along, but I think it was an Advent bauble initiative that they did last year for Rowan. So this is the ballerina that I've done. I won't show them all because they'll feature in another video later in the year, but we've got this kind of lovely little Fair Isle style. Some of the ones I've done before, of course. Little snowflake. We've got an angel. Love the blue and the yellow. What else have we got? We've got an ice skate. So the plan was to do 2 a month starting in January, which would then mean I'm finished by December because there are 24 baubles. But I'm a little bit behind because of other projects and other plans, and yeah. So as it stands today in October, with the 2 I need to do in October, I have to do 6. So if I can get 2 done today, then I've only got 4 to do. Plus, of course, it's November next week, so then I'll have to do November's. So I'm just going to pick these back up. They're quicker than I thought. I'm using double pointed needles. I'm a big fan of double points. I hate magic loop. I can't do it. I'm not patient enough to sit down and practice it. So I'm a big fan of double points. I actually knit my socks on double points as well. Some of you might think I'm crazy, but I think some of you magic knitters are crazy. So there we go. So I've done a ballerina, and my plan is obviously to do another one today. I'm not sure what the next pattern is. The baubles will kind of all be my plan. I'm a process knitter, so I like to go through and do each task once. So I'm going through and doing all of the knitting. Little bird. I'm trying to find there's a snowman, but he looks really, oh, there we go. It's not a snowman, it's a gingerbread man. And I can't decide if it's a gingerbread man or an alien. But I'm going through little sheep. I'm going to make all of the baubles and a moose. That was the one I was looking for, my favourite one. I love the moose. So I'm going to go through and make all of the baubles by December. And then I will block them all, sew them all, stuff them all, and then crochet chain loops. So I am making good progress, apart from being a few behind, but I'm not behind enough that I'm not going to be able to catch up. So that's bauble number 1 done, ticked off my list for today. So I think I'm going to now do the Christmas cake, because then that means they can get in soaking. And then I'll probably have a shower, and then we'll probably go out, and we might start bauble number 2 in the coffee shop. I think that's going to be my plan. But I love these baubles. Some of these are low contrast. The colours, I should probably say, I'm knitting these in Rowan Alpaca Soft DK. And the colours are broadly in line to match the flat. So you've seen around the flat at various points. So we have some teal, some grey, some cream. This is meant to be yellow. It's more of a mustardy colour, but it's the same soft alpaca. So it's fine. I'm okay with that. It's broadly broadly in line with the palette that we wanted. And this is 70% wool and 30% alpaca. It is super squishy soft. And this is the wool that Arne and Carlos used in their pattern for Rowan. So that's why I've done the colours. They're non-festive. It's not red and green. If you haven't watched last year's Vlogmas, where I blogged along as I made my Toft advent calendar, you'll see some of the flat being decorated, and of course we'll do the same this year. So the flat will be decorated in teals and yellows and greys, non-festive colours. No red and green here. A little bit of green maybe. Right, that's it. I'm babbling. I need to go and soak my fruit. Let's go. A little bit of context as I go to weigh out the fruit, because we have followers from all around the globe here, which is brilliant. So I just thought I'd add that when I talk about a Christmas cake in the UK, that is a traditional fruit cake. So I use a recipe from Delia Smith. Lots of you have probably heard from her, even if you're not in the UK. She is the first doyenne of cooking. She was one of the first people in the UK to have a cooking channel. She wrote this cookbook back in the 70s, before I was born. And it's a firm favourite in our house, and we get it out every Christmas, and we make lots of different festive recipes. So we always do the traditional fruit cake. So the cake includes currants, sultanas, raisins, so your typical dried fruits. You then put mixed peel in, so often you use lemon and orange peel. Personally, I just put orange peel in, and I make a really orangey type cake. We have glacé cherries, there are almonds in it, loads and loads of Christmas spices like mace and nutmeg and cinnamon, and the house just smells wonderful when it's being cooked. So I'm going to get that underway. What I do is Delia recommends to soak the fruit in brandy, but it's not the 1970s anymore, and I think brandy's a bit old-fashioned. Mark and I are big fans of rum. So I have some rum from the Dominican Republic, which I'm going to soak the fruit in. And I also put some orange juice in, so that kind of ties in nicely with the orange peel. So we have that really nice dark rum and orange, which is a lovely marinade, if you like, for the fruits. So it's Wednesday today, the fruits will get soaked, and then I will bake the cake. They take like 3.5 to 4 hours to bake, so I'll probably do one on Friday and one on Saturday. And then they get wrapped up, and then you feed them more brandy for the rest of the year till December. The cake will be a square cake. Square. And then we cut them in half, and then each of the family members has half a cake each, which is kind of the perfect size for our family. It's kind of how it works, and I love to make the cakes. That's kind of my thing in the family. So let's get on and measure out the ingredients. And there we have it, the finished fruit, ready to have a little sit. You can see it's all glistening in the rum and the orange, so that will have a nice little marinade now for a couple of days. And that is bauble 1 crossed off my list. And that is soak the fruit crossed off my list. There we go. We are making progress. Right, on to the post office, I think. Okay, I've had to leave now, and if I had another half an hour, I would have finished bauble number 2. I nipped to the post office, had some lunch, all very lovely, and now need to head home for secret project. Otherwise I'm going to be late. So let's get in the car and let's get home. But I'm so close to finishing bauble number 2 today. Oh, it's been productive. Right, let's go. Okay, I am back from lunch. I've been into town and I've nearly finished the bauble. I won't show you just yet because I haven't finished it. I've just got home and I've got a couple of minutes before my secret project. So I just thought I would come on and show you the Shawlography. So in the last video, I'd nearly finished the brioche. I have now finished all of this week's clue. So the brioche is complete, which is so squishy. So I just love the completed brioche section. So as you saw before, cream in the foreground with a burgundy background, and then on the reverse, burgundy in the foreground and cream in the background. So the brioche is done, and then the final section of the clue are these crazy crisscrosses. I didn't enjoy doing these. I found they were really fiddly. A few people had commented on the last video, which was so incredibly helpful, about a tip to make them easier. And when you're on the wrong side to work your way back to do the crisscrosses, to drop the left-hand needle down a size, because the wraps that you do across on the right side can get quite tight. So thank you to everybody who put that in as a suggestion. I did that and it was so much easier to slide the stitches. I could really see how people can find that quite difficult if you left it on the same size needle. So thank you very much for that tip. And if you haven't yet got to your crisscrosses, when you're on your purl side on your way back and you're doing the crisscross, definitely swap down a needle size if you're on an interchangeable needle, and you can change your needle tip. So this is the crisscross section. Effectively, you have these sort of 8 stitches, 4 and 4, and then they obviously line up in an 8, and then you just cross them over. Stephen's video on his channel and in the pattern will obviously tell you how to do that. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, it's a bit bonkers. I was on the fence with the I-cords, the yarn shrimps, but I really like them now because I think as part of this kind of wider texture within the pattern, I think it's really tactile. I'm on the fence with these, but in Stephen we trust. By the time we get to the end, I'm sure I'm going to love them. The only bit I'm not sure about is they kind of collapse, obviously in the weight, because there's nothing holding them up. So I wonder what is going to go next over the top of them and whether that helps them stand up, because they look lovely when they're kind of stretched out. You've obviously got these big yarn over holes again, which echo throughout the pattern. But I like them when they stand up and the crisscrosses are kind of taut. But if you don't put that tension on, they do kind of drop. So I'm intrigued to see what happens next, but I'm sure it'll all be fine. So they're done. And that's it for week 3, really. I saw a few people commenting online about whether there was going to be an emergency like week 3A clue. Stephen did that to us last year. I think we had week 1's clue, and then on the Friday, and then on the Monday we had an extra like 1A. And a few people are like, oh, this week is really easy. It's just the brioche, and then the I've dropped the stitches. It's just the brioche, and then the crisscrosses. It's fine, I've saved it. Will there be another clue? And there hasn't been, and it's now Wednesday, so I'm guessing there's not going to be another clue. We have a lot of yarn left over, so I'm guessing the 4th and final week that we'll get on Friday is likely to be a lot more knitting. I do have Friday off, as I said at the beginning of this video. I've got holidays to use, so I'm quite looking forward to Friday. Let's see what's going to happen. So there we go. That is the completed week 3, crisscrosses and brioche. I do have 2 confessions to make, and I know that I am firmly amongst friends and we all celebrate each other's successes and failures. And whilst this isn't a failure, I do have 2 errors to tell you about. I love my brioche, and as I said, I'm only not a fan of brioche because I don't really know how to fix it, and I do have an error. And I wasn't ripping back, and I don't know how to fix it, so it's just going to stuck there. If you see this little stitch here, so Stephen describes the brioche as each stitch has a little shawl that comes over the top, but if the shawl drops down and it goes around the bottom, it's got a little belt, and we don't want belts, we want shawls. Well, this stitch here, it's got a little belt. I don't know what happened. I was up about here, nearly finished it when I discovered it. I have no idea how to fix it. I kind of think it's just going to be a cute little design feature. It's the only one on the entire right side that I have an error on. And part of me is like, oh, but it's fine. I'm embracing it. Say yes, don't stress. So I've got one tiny little error there, and I don't know what I've done on the back. I've done something funky. Here, I undid a couple of stitches because I got my yarn over my shawls mixed up, and I undid something, and I think I've just put it back in the wrong place. So here, it's that big a mistake, I can't even find it. Where's it gone? There's definitely a mistake. Ah, there it is. Here, my column's not straight, so it kind of comes up here, then it verges off, and then the column picks up again. It's only on the wrong side because on the right side, the columns are all correct. So I've definitely done something on that reverse side. But again, like I've just picked it back up and I've lost it again. So it's not really noticeable, but you know what? I said, I'm happy to embrace it. I did think I could possibly try and do a bit of French darning and just fix the stitch, maybe. It doesn't bother me enough to worry about doing that. And the same with this one. I could try and do a French darn over the top and just hide it, but I think I'm just going to embrace it. And the other thing that I made a mistake on, and I don't know how it's happened, but I'm going to tell you how I fixed it in case it happens to you. As I'm coming back along the reverse row and I'm doing my crisscrosses, you do eight of the long wraps at a time. I got to the end and I should have had the number of stitches in the pattern, but I still had 2 wraps that I hadn't unwrapped. Well, it should be in multiples of 8, so I have no idea how I ended up with 2 extra stitches. So I fudged it. So I undid the last 2, and the underneath ones here and the underneath one here, they've got 5 and 4 and 5 and 4 rather than it being 4 and 4. So I just undid them. It was a bit tricky because you'd undone the wrap, so you had the loops. So I kind of just did the loops, took them back, relined them back up, pinched my knitting securely, reordered them, and then did it. I was on the phone to my mum and I was doing it last night, and I don't know what I've done. I've either, some of these are 2 less, and I have counted them randomly and they all seem to be fine. I don't know what I've done, but as Stephen says, we can fudge, and what the eye doesn't see, the knitter gets away with. And you know what? If I'm standing next to you in a coffee line and you turn to me and go, oh, that's a lovely shawl. Have you got 5 wraps on that one? The others have only got 4. Do you know what? Hats off to you for your observation skills. I don't think anyone is ever going to notice that these 2 have got 5 instead of 4. And I said, the only reason I'm telling you is because it was a problem that I faced, and I don't know if anyone else will find the same thing. And rather than ripping the whole thing out, which I just don't know, I think I must have just picked up, perhaps, I've either done one less, or when I was doing the row, I've knit something and I've created an extra stitch. I don't know, but I then finished it, fudged it, and I've counted all of my stitches and I've got the right number of stitches for the next section. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if anyone else has come across that problem. It's probably just me and not paying attention, which is another reason why I've said before, I don't really like just knitting on one thing, because I tend to just make stupid mistakes because I don't concentrate, because my mind is only on one pattern, whereas usually I like to do multiple things, and then it kind of keeps my brain active. But hey ho, say yes, don't stress. It literally is my new mantra. I love it. So there we go. That is the completed section, I think it's section 10 and 11, which is week 3 of Shawlography. So I am now going off to do Secret Thing. I'll tell you a little bit about it at the end, I think. I'll double check that I can. And then I'll be back to share a bit of a wrap up of my day. And then I'm going to get this edited and loaded online. So I'm off. I'll be back shortly. I am back, like I said I would be. And I've had an outfit change because I've just done my super secret thing and I had the best time chatting with someone. I've been interviewed, it was amazing. I had such a fun time. I'm going to pop a small clip in now, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to be a proper tease about it, and more information will follow in the next couple of weeks. But then I'll be back now after the clip with progress on the second bauble. It's like where you can wave. And we're at the end of my day. It is 6 o'clock and I'm sitting back in the window because the light is starting to go. It looks brighter outside, but you can see the orange glow. I've got the lamp on. It is getting dark in here now. So I thought I would just quickly film the wrap up to end the day. So I have finished the bauble 2. This one's a low contrast. I don't necessarily love it. You can't really tell what the pattern is, but the pattern itself is almost just a set of wiggly lines. So it's kind of, yeah, I'm not sure. I picked the colors kind of randomly. Like we've got this one. You can kind of make out the color, but again, the pattern, but it is a low contrast. It's fine. Some of them are easier to see than others. Like this is meant to be vine leaves. You kind of don't make them out. But I'm okay with that. As a broad collection of baubles, they will all be fine. The fact that they're all the same color palette is what's more important than an individual pattern, but you can kind of make out the gray. So that's a low contrast one. But by the by, I have done 2 baubles today. So we'll cross that off the list. Bauble 1, bauble 2. Tick. I went to the post office and I soaked the fruit, which you saw earlier. I've also done my super secret project, which you've just seen, hence my change of outfit. So we can cross that off. And the final one then is a blanket square, which I will finish tonight. So I will not tick it off yet, but it's nearly done. So the pattern itself is some rows of garter ridge. Then we've got this lovely lacy pattern, which you can see the eyelets. You kind of get this lovely V, and the pattern repeats itself 4 times before final set of garter ridges and then a cast off. Here's one I made earlier. I didn't make this earlier today, I should caveat. I'm not that speedy a knitter. I made this one earlier on in the week. So there is a finished grey, and this is it. So I literally just need to do the final garter section and the cast off. But given the change in light, I am claiming this as, can I claim it as finished? I'm going to claim it as finished. I'm going to tick it. I won't cross it through yet, but I will finish that tonight, I promise. Mark is on his way home from London. He gets in about 20 to 8, I think. It's 6 o'clock now, so I'll have that finished before he gets home. I have done some chores as well today before people like, you've had a day off and you literally, oh, sorry. There was a thing on the phone. You've had a day off and you've done nothing. No, I've done some washing. I've put the hoover around. I have pottered. So I have done a few chores, but I have had a very lazy knitting day, which has been lovely. So as I said, I just wanted to wrap this one up. I'm going to claim this as finished because it was on my to-do list. And I hope that you've enjoyed this slightly different style of a vlogtober video. It's been an interesting week with the Mystery Knit Along. I cannot wait for Friday to see what the pattern is going to give us. But I've had a lovely day, really, and I've really enjoyed taking you along with me. I would love to know what you think of this video. Leave me a comment below. Do you like this kind of day in the life of? I'm more than happy to kind of do more of those types of videos. I'd love to know what you'd like to see in future content or future videos. I'll be doing a sort of a non-mystery knit along wrap up next week, so we can talk more about future content then. So if you've got a comment below, great. If not, have a think about what you might like to see in future videos, and you can do that on the next video. But thank you very much for staying with me. As always, I will end by saying thank you to those returning viewers for coming back and continuing to give me a little bit of your time. Welcome and hello to all of the new viewers and subscribers. It's so lovely to have you all here. I know lots of you have found me because of the mystery knit along. This kind of format for a day in the life of, following a project, following bits of what I'm up to, it's kind of the usual format. So I hope that you've enjoyed. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. More information on the final clue of the mystery knit along, obviously, over the weekend at some point. Clue is released on Friday, and I will do a video on Saturday or Sunday, depending on what the clue is, how much progress I make, etc. So Vlogtober ends this weekend, but there will be another sort of Vlogtober video, and of course, plenty of other videos coming up over the next few weeks. So I hope that you are all well, and until we speak again, happy crafting.